And here he is, Rod Woodson. Give me something on the game in regards to Christian Gonzalez and Jackson Smith and Jigba. And this, I'm not going to put it up there at your level or Mike Haynes in the Super Bowl, but it just feels like Gonzalez is on the track to be super special. And Smith and Jigba is putting up numbers this early in his career that are incredible.
Yeah, I tell you what, Gonzalez has played at a high level. JSN, different dude. You better come with it.
Slippery.
Slippery. They do a really good job of disguising their intentions and how they're going to use him.
Right.
He'll run. He'll have reduced split. He'll carry it high, and he'll have a read. That's the hardest thing playing DB today, comparable to when I played, is that receivers don't have a read like they did. So some teams did. So when I played against run and shoot, I'll rephrase that. Run and shoot, yes, they read my leverage, and they'll run a route off my leverage. It's normal in today's football, though, right? It's not every team that does it. So if you're here, I can go there. If you slip me, then I can take it back. So you might do the right thing as a DB, you still be in a bad spot.
After hosting Lay in the Wood with you, our podcast that I'm really proud of, I didn't know how much you studied technique early in your career. Who were the coaches and the players, because you had mentors, who taught you about the right positioning, hip movement, where to line up with your feet? Who was that?
Well, a combination of multiple guys. So when I first get there, Tony Dungy is a DB coach and a defense coordinator. Tony's there. Doesn't overly coach me.
Okay.
But I'm learning how to play corner because I've always been a safety. And then I really, about year 3, when Rod Rust became the defense coordinator, and he cussed me out in a walkthrough because I was being an a-hole. I was talking while he was talking, and he cussed me out for good reason. And he challenged me as a player. It's like, you're a great athlete. You need to become something better than just being an athlete. I don't know what made me do it, but inside of my head I said, well, then teach me.
That was the moment.
That was the moment. Him and I got into the room. This all happened in the offseason. Him and I was in the room every single day for about 5-6 weeks. And his first thing he asked me was like, how many formations can all of us get in? I'm like, oh, frick, 750. I don't know. He was like, no. How many eligible receivers? I said 5. He said they can get in 5 formations. I'm like, what? He was like, they can get in 5 formations only. He said what they do, they get in these 5 formations, 2 by 1, or you can do tight end and speed on one side, right? If it's one back, they only can get in 2 formations, 2 by 2 or 3 by 1, or empty. And I was like, what? He's like, they get in these different personnel groupings. They move these pieces around. They got a final formation. They're running like maybe 6 or 7 plays out of those formations. And I'm like, what? So we start watching film, and it's coming up, and I'm like, oh, my goodness. This is all they do.
A light went off.
Boom. Blew my mind.
Wow. Rod Woodson joins us. A couple of things on the Raiders, assuming Mendoza's there. Kubiak will be announced next week. What needs to happen on the defensive side first? Because Kubiak's an offensive coach. They haven't named a defensive coordinator yet. Jim Schwartz is a rumor, whoever they have. Patrick Graham's gone to Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
They need someone like you to tell people in the offseason, we're here, we're working. Because you just told us the story about your offseason. Yeah. You're passionate about that. How can this defense turn it around now? If Max Crosby's the answer and they're going to build around him, what needs to happen?
Yeah, if they get Schwartzy, I don't know if they have the personnel. Because Schwartz is going to run a lot of man, a lot of blitzing.
They don't have the ability now. With the roster they
I know,
put
I'm
out last year to play man, no way.
That's what I'm saying. So they got to revamp that roster on the defensive side if Schwartzy comes over, because Schwartzy is aggressive. So Jim Schwartz was in Baltimore as a runner when I was there.
A runner.
Yeah, so he used to, do stuff for all the coaches. Jimmy had longer hair, had glasses, and then, boom, it was like 4 years later, he became like a defense assistant and defense coordinator. I'm like, wait, is that the same Jim Schwartz that we had in Baltimore? And really, if you think about the defense he runs that kind of like that aggressive style of a 4-3 defense that we ran in Baltimore, but he's more aggressive with it than Marvin Lewis was as a play caller. Can he run that? No, I don't think he can run that today. So it has to be some, like we said, we got to be some roster changes on the defensive side. Would it be a good hire? It would be a good hire because he's going to bring some attitude now.
Yeah, energy and attitude. Hall of Famer Rod Woodson, last one before we talk about what you're promoting. Kubiak might not be a guy that can stand in front of a room in the beginning like Gruden or someone else. Why do the fans need to know that's okay? You're talking to Raider fans now who've been through a lot of coaches. AP's loud, Pete Carroll cerebral. What about this guy?
Well, first of all, he's from a football family.
Yeah.
So it's not foreign to him to be on the big stage, right, to be that guy.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing. And I'm pretty sure Pops had conversations with him growing up.
Absolutely.
Like how to do this thing the right way. That's the first thing. Secondly, coaches play a part. Players take the responsibility. So you got to bring players in there who take the responsibility seriously on a consistent basis. And I say that with respect to every team in the National Football League.
Yeah.
Like every team, players, when you go in that locker room, that's your locker room. That's not the coach's locker room. His locker ain't in there. That's your locker room. And you have to hold everybody else accountable in that locker room consistently. Sometimes there's a good accountability, sometimes there's bad. But you have to be willing, hey, sometimes, like, you got to say, hey, man, you do that again, we fighting up in this joker. Like, we're going to do this thing the right way consistently in this building. So you set the standard of how they're going to perform once they step in that building. It's going to be the Raiders' way.
But you need leaders.
You need leaders.
So the Max rumors, and there's rumors today, but look, let's assume Max is going to be there. That guy leads the room.
Yeah, I say this. You can't get rid of Max Crosby and say you got better. You can't get rid of your best players and say you're getting better. So, yes, Max is one of those leaders that you need. You got to find – Max is defensive lineman, so that's one level. You need somebody at the linebacker level, right? Then you need somebody in the secondary.
Fentanyl-free America. Tell us about that. That's an important topic.
Fentanyl-free America, whereas the NFL Alumni Health has partnered with the DEA to bring awareness to what fentanyl is in the U.S. And it's been, I mean, when the pandemic was hitting, it was at its highest. And even though you might like the new administration and might not like the new administration, at least you have to like his fight against fentanyl. And he said it, you know, the president has said it online, or said it, live, that, hey, we're fighting against fentanyl coming across our borders. And the biggest thing is, JT, is like everybody has a phone.
Yeah.
All these kids who think they know really don't know. They have to bring awareness. If you go to dea.gov/onepill, it gives you all the information that you need to inform the kids, inform counselors, inform teachers, inform parents, the information that's needed for these kids to fight it.
I'm happy you're doing this fight, and I'm happy what you're doing because I know you want to make a difference with this.
I appreciate it.
I'll see you in the car service. Me and you are driving up to the casino together.
I know.
Thanks
a
lot, Rod. Appreciate it. That is the Hall of Famer, Rod Woodson.